In the previous analysis, we dealt with the jogging routes and possible intersections with the abductor's route. In this analysis, I'm going to provide you with a brief intro to the abductor's route. Now, like the Ramsey ransom note, in order to understand this case, you need more than a rudimentary understanding of the layout of Praia da Luz. You need to kind of get to know this area, this town, in the same way that you need to know certain basics regarding the ransom note, the handwriting, some of the words used, as well as the circumstances surrounding the note. You need to know the layout, some of the idiosyncrasies, some of the subtleties. There's certain roads that are one-way roads, and there are certain roads where if you don't know your way around, you sort of feel like you're getting a little bit lost. Now, instead of a detailed walkthrough, which we're going to get to in due course, what we're going to do in this analysis, we're going to drive the basic route at night, albeit with one deviation. We're going to go the point where Rua da Escola Primaria, where that's a one-way road, where that connects to Rua 25 de Abril. As I say, that's a one-way. We'll be skirting a little around that. But it is important to just get a feel for the fabric of Praia da Luz, just like we need to get a feel for the ransom note. So what do you guys think? Worth playing for?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. I'm in Lisbon at the moment. Before we get to the rest of this analysis, I want to draw another quick analogy to the Ramsey case. I imagine I need to do this for those Americans new to the McCann case who really don't know the case that well, might know it in a basic way, don't really know Praia da Luz very well. Also, some of you have been making kind of odd comments like, how can you say there's an abductor in this case? Well, how can you say there's not? In the Ramsey case, you either have a genuine kidnapping or you have a staged kidnapping. Technically, it's not true to say there's no kidnapping whatsoever, because there are indications of one. There's a ransom note, albeit a dodgy one, and there's a child missing inside the house, right? There's the kidnapping phase, although she's ultimately found hidden inside a secret room. But there is a period where the child was, for all intents and purposes, missing. And yes, that is dodgy too. Now, it's the dodginess of the kidnapping, this is in terms of the Ramsey case, that's the reason many believe it to be staged to look like a kidnapping. And the fibers on the sticky side of the duct tape, as well as the perfect imprint of a child's lips, suggests someone with a black and red blazer may have been involved in staging part of the aftermath of what happened to this child to make it look like a kidnapping. So to remove the whole kidnapping aspect entirely misses the point that someone was trying to make it look like a kidnapping. And so if you take the kidnapping aspect completely away, then don't you take the ransom note away, and the ransom note is some of the best evidence. In the same way with the McCann case, if you take the abduction aspect away, you're taking away one of the key, most crucial sightings in this case. And so this is why it's more helpful to think of it as a in kidnapping terms, staged or not, than simply as not a kidnapping. One can also take the Ramsey case further and ask, from which room to which room was JonBenet kidnapped? Did the movement of the child really start in her own bedroom, or did the crime occur somewhere else? As soon as you follow these intuitive lines of inquiry, many insights flow from there. Just the same with the McCann case. Madeleine wasn't found in apartment 5A. No matter what happened to her, she wasn't found there. And yet traces of her, some believe, were found in the rental car. So how did she get from 5A to the vehicle to wherever she is now if her body wasn't secretly moved? So you see, in the same way with the Ramseys, whether you believe there was a kidnapper or not, whether you believe there was an abductor or not, you still have to follow the evidence as if there was. Because if it was staged, then there should be an evidence trail regardless. Also, did you know that when Kate and Jerry were formerly made Arguidos, part of this status flowed from the belief from the Portuguese authorities that they had staged an abduction or concealed her body. Does that make sense? Now, before we get to the rest of this analysis, just a quick message to our haters, of which, let me assure you, there are a few.
Yeah, like we know that we annoy a lot of people out there, but we told people if they don't like listening to us, just switch off the TV.
And now, without further ado, let's get started. So we begin behind the Ocean Club and we head in the opposite direction, west, to Tannerman, the direction Tannerman supposedly went. He went east. And you can see the road immediately slopes down in a series of doglegs, not only taking you successively downhill, but also successively westwards into the less developed fabric of Luz. This undeveloped field was undeveloped in May 2007, just as it is today. It's kind of like a dark hole on the right-hand side, immediately on the right-hand side of the Ocean Club. Note the tennis court on the right as well. These would have been in darkness close to 10 p.m. on May 3rd. That's also another sort of square-shaped black hole to the right of that undeveloped field. Now, not surprisingly, at the point where the urban fabric thickens and a pedestrian heading downhill is squeezed into a man-made tunnel, that is precisely in this sort of thickened urban fabric where the Smith sighting occurred. One thing we need to be clear about, though, is that the street lighting is significantly improved, not only from 2007, but there are even more street lamps since I visited 6 years ago in 2009. You'll also notice as one approaches the rocky coastal edge just beyond the Smithman siding, there's a road running parallel with the sea here, right on the edge of the rocky fringe. The difference between this road and the road running along the side of the skirting the beach, essentially on the east side, and a lot closer to the promenade, is that this one is not only deserted at this time of night, but there are very few balconies overlooking this road. It's just a much thinner urban fabric on this side, a much darker urban fabric on this side, a much more undeveloped urban fabric on this side, compared to the far more popular beach side. Now, in the same way that the Ramsey case tends to end with the consensus that the ransom note is bogus, rather than begin at this point. Okay, so if the ransom note is bogus, what then? ... The McCann case tends to end at the Smithman sighting, rather than ask a very discomforting question at this point. Once the real or fake abduction reached this point, where did he go next? Where did the abductor head to after reaching the coast? And we will deal with the possible answer to that question in the next episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.